Chairs No Waiting, episode number 604, Campfire Stories. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Folks, they've just gotten in some brand new stuff from Mayberry's finest. That's right, you can head over and pick up some of the good old store-bought hamburger dill pickles. We got dill pickles. We got blackberry jam. That's Welcome Sweet Springtime blackberry jam, by the way. We got Gracious Living strawberry jam and Aunt Bee's Neat and Reverent peach jam. Head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com and check that out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners like you. The executive producer of episode number 604, tonight's show, is Susan and Wynn Arnold. So thank you, Susan and Wynn, for supporting the podcast and helping us go. I'm Alan Newsom, the host of Two Chairs No Waiting, and it is great to have you with us here for this special edition of Two Chairs No Waiting, Campfire Stories. We do this once a year where we do some campfire stories. So I got 3 stories for you. Now, these are kind of spooky, so if you're young or like Barney and Gomer, and these will get to you, you know, turn away or turn on all the lights. Everybody else can dim the lights and listen or watch this together. Before we get started, though, I do have some feedback from that I got from last week from a podcast previous, from our 600th episode. So I wanted to play this feedback I got from Larry Granger. So, Larry, take it away for me.
Hey, Alan, Larry Granger here. It's a little late in the day, but I wanted to call and congratulate you for 600 episodes. I've enjoyed every one of them and looking forward to even more. I did follow along through the trivia. I actually got 5 correct out of 16, and so I went down and bought myself a certificate congratulating myself. Anyway, enjoy the podcast. Congratulations again. Look forward to many more.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Larry. He did get 5 of the 16 right, so that's good. So if you didn't hear that, go back an episode or 2 back, and you'll be able to hear the trivia questions that we did from Mayberry Days. It's 2 episodes back, so that's what this is for. So it's 602, I believe. So head back and check out the trivia from Mayberry Days. I think you'll enjoy it. So, Larry, thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks to everybody that's written or called me or whatever you might have done to just congratulate me on the 600th episode. 600 is a lot. We're starting into our 13th year. 13th. Woo. That's hard to believe. All right. So like I said, tonight, this episode today, whenever you're listening to this, is always our kind of our Halloween episode where we do the Halloween spooky stories and that kind of thing. So I've got several stories here I wanted to tell. I got 3 actually. So we got 2 stories, and so we're gonna have to get the campfire sounds going. There we go. Oh, so there's the campfire sounds. I'll get it maybe a little darker in here. Oh, there. So it's dark in my house. Is it dark in yours? So we got a couple of stories. Now, these are the kind of stories you'd hear sitting around the campfire. Okay, so this is our first one. It's called The Keyhole. There was this man. He was staying in a hotel for a weekend. On his way to his room, he noticed a closed door. It didn't have a number on it. When he asked about it at the front desk, he was told that no one's allowed in that room. Well, as the next day came along, went by, his curiosity just kept getting to him. So that night, as he was walking toward his room, he kind of stopped and looked at the door and kind of bent down and looked through the keyhole. And what he saw was just a normal hotel room inside with this very pale woman that was laying there on the bed. She was real pale. Her skin was real pale. He didn't think much about it. So he went on his way and went to his room and slept the night. And, didn't think much about it. But the next night, as he was walking back by that room, heading back to his room for the evening, he was just too curious. So he stopped and bent down, put his eye up to that keyhole and looked in. This time all he could see was just red. He wiggled around looking in there. It was just red. Everything in it was red. Huh. Well, he stood on back up and walked back and went to his room. He just kept thinking about that. He said, what happened in that room? So he walked down to the front desk. And he went up to the lady there and said, what about that room? There's no number on the door. And it's just confused me. I got to know what happened. Well, she said, we don't like to tell people. But you see, a woman was murdered in that room a few years ago. Yeah. She was an albino woman. Real white skin. Yeah, she was white. I mean, everything was white. Her hair, everything was white. Everything except she had red eyes. Ooh. Oh. So that was the eyes. Well, let's see. Maybe you don't like stories about city stuff, so I'll tell you a story. Did you grow up out in the country like I did? He was always walking through the woods and walking through cornfields and all that kind of stuff, but usually that was in the daytime. Yeah, it's just something about a cornfield. You just didn't want to walk through. Well, there's times, when you got to walk home, you got to go down the dirt road and go down to the corner and then turn and go back down. If you just cut through this cornfield, sure would be a lot quicker. Here's a little story about that. The shortcut through the cornfield tempts you as you're walking home. The clouds keep the moon concealed as you enter the swaying corn alone. Corn grows tall and thick, my friend. The path you choose is muddy. It grows in rows with scopes and end. And in the dark you hurry. You don't see the standing forms as you pass them on your way. They stand still among the swaying corn, which hides their parlor in decay. Hundreds gather in the field at night, though you see none at all. Yet still you look around in fright, but the corn grows too thick and tall. You tell yourself as you continue through, it's merely the rustling of the leaves, but they see you and they hear you, and they might not let you leave. If only I could talk like Vincent Price. That'd be a great story. All right, friends. So this is the story that Andy told long ago. I know you're going to enjoy it. It's about a golden arm. I think you're going to really enjoy it. This story's been around for over 200 years. And tonight we're going to hear yet another version of Who Stole My Golden Arm. And I hope you're going to enjoy it. So sit back. If there's children in the house, you may want to move them around or sit close to them and let them hold on to you as we hear Who Stole My Golden Arm? Once upon a time, there was a very, very rich man. He lived in a great big house on top of a misty mountain. He was so rich that people would travel up the winding road that led up to his house and ask him to do favors for them. Maybe donate some money. Children would go up there to his door and they'd try to peddle their cookies and candy bars and magazine subscriptions for school. But even more often, parents would arrive with their daughters in tow, knowing that this rich man was not married. They hoped he'd fall helplessly in love with their daughters. He turned away the children, and that was despite all the wonderful goodies they had to offer. And likewise, he turned away all the fair women, many of which were young and beautiful. He turned them all away because he believed that no one was really interested in him, that all they really were interested in was his money and his big house on the hill. One day, a woman arrived at his door. She wasn't looking for money or for love. She simply needed some directions. He was suspicious, but after listening to her tales of getting lost, he found himself most captivated by her arm. It was her golden arm. He invited her in for tea, and she must have been very thirsty after such a long and lost travels. He would give her the directions she needed, and curiosity got the best of him, and he wanted to know more about the golden arm of hers. So over a glass of tea, she told him how she had been born the daughter of the richest man in the land, a man even richer than himself. Now, she had been in a terrible horseback riding accident as a little girl, and riding the horse her father had given her, and her father felt terrible. When she lost her arm, she cried and cried and cried. Who would ever fall in love with a one-armed girl? How would she ever tend to a home and to a husband and to a child with only one arm? Her tears of pain and loss only made her father's guilt grow. So, when she was a young lady, her father gave her a gift of the golden arm. It was made of the finest gold in the world and made to look exactly like her arm, but of solid gold. Her father told her that no one, no thing, no accidents, no horses could ever take that arm away from her. It was her golden arm. Entertained by her tale of the golden arm, the man gave her directions that she needed, then invited her back for tea the next day. Day after day, they enjoyed afternoon tea together, and eventually they married. He thought no man was as fortunate, as blessed, and as lucky as he. Then suddenly, one day, his wife died. So, not long after his beloved wife had been buried, he grabbed a shovel because he had realized that while he was saddened and he did love his wife, he knew he loved her golden arm more than he ever loved her. She had been buried with that golden arm. So after a while after she had been buried, he grabbed that shovel and made his way to her gravesite of his beloved wife. He began to dig. With each dig of the shovel into the dirt that covered his wife's grave, he thought to himself, "Oh, that golden arm. I must have that golden arm. I'm going to get that golden arm." He dug, and he dug. And eventually, he found her and her golden arm. Covered in dirt, her face was so pale. In the moonlight, her lips were ashy. Oh, but that golden arm. It glistened and it shined. It was so bright and still so beautiful. He reached in and grabbed it out. And he quickly began to cover his dead wife with the fresh dirt that he had piled up. All the while he was thinking to himself, I have the golden arm. I've got it. I finally got the golden arm. He covered the grave with the dirt so it looked like it had never been dug up to begin with. Made it look just like nothing had happened. He grabbed that golden arm and he ran through the cemetery and through the woods and up the dark hillside, through the fog, back to his great big house. He took that golden arm and hid it in a secret safe. It was a safe that no one else had ever known about, not even his beloved wife. After all his hard work digging and his wild uphill running through the fog, he found himself exhausted. He sat down in his chair, the chair he always sat in the afternoon, right after tea, and he fell asleep. But he awoke to some kind of a sound. Who's got my golden arm? The old man, he was startled by the ghostly vision of his dead wife standing right before him. Who's got my golden arm? Her skin was so pale. He was terrified. Who's got my golden arm? ashen and gray. Could it really be her? Who's got my golden arm? Her hair is all clumped with fresh dirt. Could she be alive? Who's got my golden arm? Who's got my golden arm? Who's got my golden arm? You've got my golden arm. And that's the story of the golden arm. I hope you enjoyed that story. It's always fun to tell. Feel free to share it with somebody else. Maybe even tell it around the campfire. I'm sure it's going to keep Barney and Gomer awake all night. But is it going to keep you? I hope not. We'll see you next time on Two Chairs No Waiting. If you can make it there.
You can hear him saying, ooh, ooh, who stole my golden arm? Who stole my golden arm? Who stole my golden arm? Who stole my golden arm?
Ooh. Hope you enjoyed that. Come back anytime. I'd love to hear from you. You can give me a call at 888-684-8415 or email me at floyd@imayberry.com. And we'll do this again next year. This time of year. Hope you have a great Mayberry week. And I hope you get a little bit of sleep tonight.